what I want to play for you is James Hetfield. Think of that again. I just want to color this in between the lines here. This dude has done shows for 3-4 decades, going back to when I was a kid at Tampa Stadium, literally selling out stadiums in countries around the world, okay? Well, recently, he got up on stage. This is probably a show 3-4 months ago. Got up on stage and said this.
Before I came out here, feeling a little bit insecure, like I'm an old guy, I can't play anymore, all this bullshit that I tell myself in my head. So I talked to these guys, and they helped me, as simple as that. They gave me a hug and said, hey, if you're struggling on stage, we got your back. And I tell you, that means the world to me. It means the world.
So that's James Hetfield.
It's wild.
Dude walks out on stage and in that moment admits that he too struggles with insecurities and anxiety. And it's like, wait a minute. If James Hetfield can deal with this, like, I'm good. I can deal with it too. And what he says there at the end is like, you know, the other guy is saying, we got your back. And my buddy Ken, who's one of the owners at Grassroots, like messaged me that on Instagram a couple of weeks ago. And he's like, dude, you got to talk about that on the radio. I'm like, Ken, chill out, buddy. We'll get to it, man. We'll get to it. We got to get our show back first. But it's like, but it's true, is that level of what he talked about of like the guys in the band and all the texts and saying, hey, we got your back, man. And they all walked up and gave him a hug. And in that moment, everything was okay. In that moment, every shred of lack of confidence goes away. Insecurity goes away. And the solution was a hug.
Yeah, it's nice. Hugs are, I mean, you know how I feel about hugs.
I do.
A big fan of hugs. Yeah, dude. Science, I think it's 20 seconds of physical contact and a hug. Your brain starts to release oxytocin, which is awesome. But, I love that a couple of things that are at play here, one is the timing. They're about to do a live show, so the timing is very limited that he's going to be able to have this conversation with the dudes. And during that conversation, the only way, in my opinion, for that hug to really help is you got to just be honest with how you're feeling terrified to do anything, and you're just feeling totally less than. And then you give, your dudes a chance to show you that support that you didn't think you were going to get from them. I'm sure he thought if he said that, he was going to get laughed at.
Yeah, totally. I was encouraged by that audio because like that's the whole. If there's anything to say that what this show Let's Get Real is about is just, hey, we got your back. If you want to call, if you've got the courage to call, whatever your case is, if you're evicted, you need help with figuring out your kids, whatever it is, we would just want to say we got your back. And it takes you, the caller, the Let's Get Real community, to have the courage to call 1-800-771-1025. But it's like, man, if James Hetfield can do that, anybody can do that. And what would have happened if I play that scenario out where, let's just say, because I know you can relate to this, I know I can relate to this, and I'm sure everybody listening can relate to this, where we don't, where we hold it in and we go, hey, you know what? I'll just figure this out. I got this. I'm not going to ask for help. I'm not going to do that. So for him to be able to walk out on stage, and it was a stadium, so let's just hypothesize of like 80,000 people. And like my palms sweat just thinking about walking out on the stage with 80,000 people, much less playing music that I wrote in front of those people. But he did it. He walked out on stage and it was like, man, I'm struggling and I need help. And these guys got my back. And I'm just like, man, I love every piece of that. I love the fact that, I'll say it again, if James Hetfield can ask for help, anybody can ask for help.
That's a good point. It is crazy to think about how that would have gone if he didn't say anything, how that spiral, next thing you know, he's forgetting lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
Then everybody's talking about, he looks like he has a stroke on stage because he just locks up, and then he runs away or he just faints right there in front of everybody. Oh, God.
And how many times have and we don't know, but you've gone to see a show, and having run 97X and run Next Big Thing for so many years, I've seen so many bands on stage, and I've seen so many bands walk off stage despondent, thinking, oh, I sucked. And I look out in the crowd and I see 15, 20,000 people cheering, so it doesn't matter how many people are in the crowd and what kind of cheers happen. But what you don't know is, did they need something before? Were they feeling insecure? I think it's Billie Eilish talks about her absolute fear before every show.
Oh, I get that.
And before she walks on stage, and like crippled with fear. And yeah, if you don't do that, if you don't find a release valve, if you don't at least share that with somebody, how that ultimately plays out. Because you become a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, and the subconscious mind is a hell of a thing, man.
Oh.
It really is a hell of a thing. Once you train it to feed you a line of thought, it's just going to do that forever until you can, stop it in its tracks and put the work in to change that. And even when you've changed it, as I'm sure James Hetfield has been to therapy and done years of work, it still has the ability to creep in and destroy a moment like that.
It's creeping death. That's a Metallica song.
Yeah, yeah. And, the sad thing is it just takes one moment, one bad James Hetfield moment, then you're, immortalized on the internet forever.
Yeah,
and then that's it. Yeah, just one moment of your subconscious telling you you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Yeah, so it's so interesting to hypothesize and play that scenario out, that if he doesn't say that on stage, if he doesn't admit to his insecurity and anxiety and I'm an old dude and I can't do this anymore, he doesn't admit that and just put that out. Just put it out there front and center, and then get support. Because not just the people hugging on stage, but you heard that crowd in that audio. That crowd was like seriously behind him and seriously supporting him in that moment. Like the enthusiasm of 80,000 people and that support, coupled with just some dudes helping dudes on stage, just giving a big hug, just giving a big hug, that when you play that scenario out, that if he doesn't do that, and that subconscious mind thing spirals and turns into memes, and everybody is like, oh, Metallica's washed up and all that stuff. And it's like, no, he was just okay to have a bad day.
Yeah.
And maybe the next day, those creeping thoughts don't come in. And he crushes it.
Hopefully he gets a reprieve. Hopefully everybody can get a reprieve every once in a while from those creeping thoughts.
Amen to that.
But when you don't, luckily James Hetfield he turned it around. But if you can turn it around, that's when the strength to deal with comes into play.
Yeah, thoughts are just so wicked.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, they're a prison.
They
100%.
are. Yeah, and it's I can tell you that thoughts are impermanent. They come and go like the wind, but that doesn't help when you're in it. It doesn't help to know that, oh, well, this thought will go away in like 10 seconds. Nope.
No, because it's a seed. And once that seed is planted of thought, you can do everything you can to pretend like it didn't plant, but it's always going to be there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's like, that's why I applaud James Hetfield for doing that, because he turned in on his own thoughts and was like, nah, I got this. Actually, I don't got this, but my band's got me.
Yeah.
And they gave him a hug. And that release of oxytocin, that release of everything, it's just like, I don't know, man. I find that I come back to what I said a minute ago. It's just like, look, if the dude of all dudes, if James Hetfield can say, yeah, man, I'm struggling tonight. I've struggled. I've struggled before this show. You struggled before this show. And we're on, and we've got 17 people listening to us right now.
That's it, yeah.
That's it.
If that.
Maybe only 15. Get out of here.
I say 5 at least. Solid 5. I always think about that moment of physical touch, like when the hug happens, whether it's in private or in front of people. It's that timing that is so unique to each relationship and circumstance is so interesting to me, of figuring out, is this the right time to hug? Because it's a very small window.
Yeah.
And if you miss it, it's weird. And if you do it before you're supposed to, it's weird.
Yeah.
But if you hit it just right, that hug can change the trajectory of someone's life.
Absolutely.